Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, we're here a little early. The big unveiling is this coming Saturday. And, you know, this is still a work in progress. You can see construction there happening, but there's also a lot already set in place. Some great restaurants right here. The pier out here, it is really looking good. You know, eventually these nearly 40 acres of land along the Columbia is going to be filled with shops, housing, a hotel, a park. Waterfront Park's pretty much in place at this point. It's a $1.5 billion project in the making right now. No doubt about it. It's going to have a big impact in this community. Vancouver already filled with great locations. Now, we've been asking you what your favorite spots are around the city that are already in place. So Thomas says he loves Vinny's Pizza. He's all about the lasagna there at Vinny's. I had pizza at Vinny's last Friday with lunch with my wife, and it was delicious. Love Vinny's. Hey, Jay Cornett says she's a big fan of Blue Door. It's a nice bakery uptown Village here in Vancouver. They've got great vegan and veggie options. Share your favorites with us using the hashtag IamUpPDX. That's how we can find out what you think about Vancouver. You know, there will be other restaurants here eventually. A lot of things going on. A couple of restaurants opening here for the opening of the waterfront coming up. So the future is here for Vancouver, but we want to talk about the history of Vancouver. So we're going to take you back in years right here. At the Clark County Historical Museum, Vancouver's past is laid out. For thousands of years before there was a city, Native peoples thrived on the land by the Columbia River. Then, before 1800, white settlers arrived. First was American Robert Gray, followed by Lewis and Clark. And then in 1825, Fort Vancouver was built for the Hudson's Bay Company. For many years, the fort served as the center of fur trading in the Pacific Northwest. It's been a popular place for a long time for good reason.
We talked about how people are moving the area today, right? And it's a very beautiful place. That same conversation was being had before Hudson's Bay or anyone actually established, when people saw this wonderful bend in the river and this place where there were these natural plains.
There's a military history too, with the Columbia Barracks, as it was first known, developed in the mid-1800s. About that time, Amos and Esther Short created the city of Vancouver, which included the land where Esther Short Park now shines.
Esther platted the city of Vancouver, and she's known as our city's mother. And from 1857 going forward, from the incorporation of the city, this city has really just kind of been a center of commerce and agriculture and a growing community.
Bradley Richardson took us through Vancouver's more recent past as a shipbuilder in World War I and World War II, as a major lumber center, even as the world leader in prune production for 50 years into the 20th century. In 1908, the railroad bridge made Vancouver a busier commerce spot by bringing in a lot more train traffic. Now, the opening up of the Vancouver waterfront on the old Boise-Cascade industrial site, transforming for the people.
And so now we're going to have our river highlighted again. It's going to draw these people in, and they're going to experience these things that are, very kind of interesting on the waterfront, but then they're going to find out once you go into the interior of that city, of our city, that it's full of really interesting experiences in life.
Yeah, for sure. Walking north from the waterfront. Hey, but we're at the waterfront now. This is Twig's Bistro. It's one of the restaurants going to open. You see those little heaters? Those are all heaters for outside seating. So it's going to be great here this fall. Come out. It's a little cool this morning. Turn on the heater. Have a little something here at the Bistro. A lot of fun. Thanks to Bradley Richardson with the Clark County Historical Museum for giving us that cool history lesson. One thing we didn't get in the story was that Vancouver is a great history of breweries. Big breweries. Lucky Lager brewed here, and a bunch of others, a network of breweries back in the day. And that's really come back around. And there are a lot of small breweries up here now. All these guys working together to create some great beer up here in Vancouver, if you like that sort of thing. And most people do. And so that's happening here. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's great. Hey, but coming up in the next hour at 6:30, we're going to be talking about dogs, because everybody loves dogs too. We're going to talk about the dog-friendly places up here in Vancouver. Keep them on a leash, and we'll be talking about that with the Humane Society up here at 6:45 or so. But we'll see you more coming up.
Excellent.